It is too. So as you can see, I'm on the train here in Berlin. It's very, very cold today. It was -2 this morning when I got up and I saw a maximum temperature is going to be 4, but I'm telling you, it's super cold here. My fingers are freezing. The station that I'm at right now... What's the correct pronunciation, Frank?
That's German, we call it Zoologischer Garten. That's the former main station of Berlin. Or better said, the former main station of West Berlin.
So this is my cousin, basically, my mum's cousin actually. We still haven't figured out the correct family name. So I'm 45 now, Frank's 54, so he's closer to my age and my mum's age, who today, on December 3rd, just turned 68. We called her for her birthday and she got a real kick out of that. That was pretty cool. So what we're doing now is we're going for a bit of a historical journey to the area that is the former East Berlin. We're going to basically what's left of the wall, which apparently there's not very much at all. The Berlin Wall was torn down in 1989, I believe.
Yeah. Now we're driving from west to east.
Oh, okay.
Still west.
Still west, but we're about to go over into the east. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no, now we're coming to the east.
Oh, okay.
That's still west, yeah. Oh, we have to leave.
Oh, we have to change trains?
Yeah. That's the main station.
This is passport control where we need our papers to be able to go from the west to the east, yeah?
No, that was... this station didn't exist in the past.
Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks much newer. I seriously feel like I've seen this station in movies before. I'll have to check Google later. How do you pronounce it correctly, the station?
Berlin Hauptbahnhof.
Hauptbahnhof. Must have seen it in, I don't know, a Jason Bourne movie or something.
This station is new.
It's new?
It was built after breaking down the wall.
Okay, yep.
The famous station was Friedrichstraße.
I don't know that one.
The station where the control happened, you know.
So this is what it looks like inside of the train station here. This train station is absolutely filled with shops. I don't even know how many levels it's got. But there's all the way down there, trains down there, there's trains up here, and then around the other side I saw trains up around the other way over there. There's trains down the bottom through here, which I guess is the same as the opposite side to where I was just looking. There's trains through this way over here. There's trains bloody everywhere. I don't know how many platforms there are, but there's a lot. It's driving me crazy. I can't think of what films it is, but this station, I've seen this. I just can't think of what films and stuff right now. This is definitely the former East. This is our stop where we're getting off. It is called Nordbahnhof. And we're going to, what's this place called again?
Gedenkstätte Bernauer Straße.
Okay. That's a big name. Can you explain to the camera what this area is?
A former part of the Berlin Wall with a kind of museum.
But this is not the touristy version, this is a more realistic version.
Yeah, right.
We've made it, and there is what is left over now of the Berlin Wall. There's not much there, which is probably a good thing for history. And right here in front of us is a visual reference to the former wall. So Frank's going to explain the story. Go for it.
Well, that's just a part of Berlin. It's not the whole Berlin. Berlin has 895 square kilometers. And to imagine, if this is Berlin, for example, then the wall was around the former western part to prevent that people from the eastern part can come to the western part. So it means if this was Berlin, this was the western part, this was the eastern part, so the border was around the western part. So nobody could come from the eastern part into the western part.
So it wasn't to stop the westerners getting out, it was to stop the easterners getting in, is that right?
Yeah, sure, and therefore the whole western area had to be separated from the eastern area, so that nobody could come from East Berlin
into the west.
But they said, They call it anti-fascistic prevention wall.
Oh, wow.
We don't want to have the fascistic from the west and the east, but the reason to build the wall was too many good educated people left East Berlin.
Oh.
Then they built the wall.
To try and keep the educated ones in?
Yeah. This is the visitor center. You know,
oh, yeah. That one right there?
Yeah.
So that brown building right there is represented by that right there. So it's a very small portion of the wall here. It's just showing you a rough idea of what's around. Let's go and have a closer look.
Take a look around.
So this side is the east and that side is the west, or the other way around? You can see by the buildings, that's definitely the east there. And you can see by the quality of buildings, that's the west over there. It's just so obvious. This here is the former location of a guardhouse.
With gun slits.
Yeah, so there was a guardhouse here to basically shoot people on sight, I assume. And I have to say, it's freaking cold out here. I reckon right now it's probably like 1, maybe 2 if it's lucky. And there's a bit of wind, and the wind is very cold.
And the wind chill temperature is definitely below.
Yeah, definitely. The wind would be below 0 for sure. Oh, look at this. People that they know of who didn't survive, I gather. I don't really know. I'm just throwing guesses out here. I really don't know the significance of this, but it's full on regardless. There's the wall. You know what? It's crazy, but I have to touch it. And it's not for any sick, morbid reasons, but if you're here, it's just something that you kind of can't help but feel you just need to do. It's really weird, alright? Maybe I'm just making up too much in my head, but just standing here, I can't help but feel all the people that would have come to this wall in the hopes of getting out from where they didn't want to be and were killed because they couldn't go anywhere. I don't know, maybe I'm thinking too much, but there's a lot of emotion here. It's one of the most historic places in modern history. And I'm standing here, which is really weird. Wonderful in a way, terrible that it even had to have ever been here in the first place. So we've come to a spot now where there's this great big iron wall erected here and a single cross. And I've just read this sign, and this is really quite intense. Approximately 1,000 graves had been moved when the border strip was developed. This is, however, possible that the graves of World War II bomb victims were exhumed and that the border grounds were built over their graves. This cross commemorates them. Man, how do you put that sort of emotion into words? It's just too much. By the way, that sniffers because it's freezing cold. I'm not at tear stage. I don't know, maybe close. This is just too much, alright? It's a lot to take in. Coming to somewhere like this is incredibly important to understand humanity. This doesn't teach you humanity, it teaches you what humanity is capable of, and hopefully we can learn from it. Whether it's something as simple as a family squabble or a massive war, people like you and me have no control over this sort of stuff. This is all decided by politicians and people who want power and corrupt people, and, you know, unfortunately people that none of us have any contact with. But just seeing stuff like this just puts it all into perspective, and you can't help but feel something. It's just really hard to put it into words. It's an overwhelming feeling that can't be described. If you go to Japan, and you can go to the War Memorial Museum in Hiroshima, I've done that, and wow, it was full on. I went there in 2003 with my mum. Things like this need to be seen. The Berlin Wall needs to be seen. All these things need to be seen just to remind you of how lucky we are if we can live in a peaceful society. I'm very lucky living in Japan right now. Of course we have to worry a little bit about the North Koreans. Well, let's just hope nothing comes out of it. And once again, there's a little man who just wants to wield power. From looking here, I can't help but think that this side must be the east, and the other side must have been the west.
Let's cross the street because I want to check there.
Okay. Now I kind of get it. That there is the reverse side of the iron wall that I was just at, and they've preserved part of this here because look at this. That's where the snipers, I guess, would be, in between the sides of the wall or something. I don't really know enough, but yeah, that's that right there. That's frightening devastation to look at. Now, maybe I'm just dumb and uneducated and didn't even realise. I didn't know that the wall was built in 61. Just for some reason assumed it was built during the war. I guess it makes sense it was built after.
I was wondering, as a Berliner, are we in the western part or in the eastern part? Just thought of it for just a short while. But when you watch it, the tower stands in the eastern part.
Makes perfect sense now, doesn't it? Of course, so the wall is in here because they were trying to stop the Easterners from leaving, and the tower is there to shoot them down as they're approaching the wall. Here's what it looked like on the in-between. If you guys have seen Bridge of Spies and other various movies, that's kind of the concept of what was going on. It's amazing. I couldn't imagine being a person there at that time. 17th of July. 1953. It's too much. Poor people couldn't even get to see over the other side, or trying to see over the other side. We couldn't go there. They couldn't even get to each other. Berlin, the city, was surrounded by the East Germany, not by the West Germany. From West Berlin, you couldn't go to West Germany.
You had to go from the border because we had a border around West Berlin.
Okay.
If you wanted to go from West Berlin to West Germany, you had to pass the border.
So you could do it?
Sure.
Okay, but Eastern Germans couldn't do it.